Hello and welcome. Today we're going to be talking about starting your seeds indoors. I'm going to teach you everything that we need to do and have to start a successful plant from seed starting indoors. It's in January now, and a lot of the times you want to start your seeds 6 to 8 weeks before your last frost date. So that's very important to count back from when your frost date is, and that will give you an idea in your zone when you're going to be starting your seeds. So for me, here in zone 8A, we are looking in 2023 at a frost date between March 9th and the 15th, depending on what sources you look at. And so if we count back 6 to 8 weeks from there, we're getting close to the middle of January already. So there's a lot of seeds starting software that you can also get. Some of them are free, some of them are paid. I'll put a link below in the description box for how you can get a couple of these seed planners for free. They're on computers. Again, at the very minimum, what I would recommend that you start writing a little journal and what you're going to be planting. So what I'm going to go over today is simple things, what you can do, real basic stuff for starting your garden from seed. And you don't need a whole lot of equipment, but we are going to go over some of the specialized things that you definitely do need. You're in the garden with Patrick, and so today what we're going to be talking about is the first thing I want you to keep in mind is I want you to start writing down a list of what you want to plant for the 2023, or what you're going to be planting in your spring garden this year. So what I did is I wrote a pretty extensive list of what I'm going to be planting this year in my garden, and I also wrote out specifically, and I'll put a larger copy of this on the screen here, but this is my list of plants and where I'm going to be planting everything. Okay, so again, I'm using my planning software, when I'm going to be sowing these in the ground and when I'll be starting them from seed. But pretty much most of the things that I'm going to be planting today will be something that we're going to be planting in about 6 to 8 weeks, which is going to put us in the middle of March. So first thing you want to be aware of is, again, when you buy or when you're planting from seed, is of course you want to get some reputable and good seeds. You want to get some good organic seeds, seeds that are non-GMO, and you can find those most places nowadays, even at the big box stores and your local nurseries. So you can buy a lot online. I'll put a couple of links down below in the description box of some different seed shops that you can purchase from. Again, I kind of mix it up. Most of the time I'll just go to the Home Depot and purchase, because a lot of times it's a little late before I'm even thinking about starting things, and I just run to the store and purchase them. But if you do save your seeds, you can use those seeds also. So, so these are all the seeds that I'm going to be planting this year. And I'm going to show you some real basic things on how we're going to do our seed starts first. Okay, so let's talk first about our containers. There's a variety of ways and different things that you can put in your containers. There's not any right or wrong way to do anything. The only thing that I would recommend is that you do purchase some grow lights. The grow lights are very important, and I'll show you the setup here in just a little while on the setup that I have. Again, it doesn't have to be anything elaborate. Use what you have, and you want to definitely have grow lights that have around 5,000 lumen. And I'll show you a video on that down the road on choosing the right lights. But again, just get some lights that are really strong. You want to have at least a 5,000 lumen shop light. They're like $15 at Walmart or something like that. Okay. Now, same thing along the lines of your seed starting trays. Again, you can use a variety of different things. I'll put a link down in the description of a video that I did on saving money and finding different pots. You can get them at the dollar store. You can repurpose them. Again, when you do buy some of your plants, keep your pots, and you can reuse those pots. This is from the dollar store, and again, these are just different pots that I have saved over the course of the years, and you just reuse them. Okay. The other thing that you can use is these aluminum pans. They come in all different sizes, and again, we have a large one here, so you can start your plants in those types of things. I'll show you how we're going to do that today. And then also we're going to go over very simple where you can purchase, this is a 72 cell seed starting tray. It has the tray also where you can put the water in there. So again, it doesn't really matter what you use. The main thing and what's most important is that you're using something. Now, if you have a smaller garden, you're only going to plant maybe say 3 or 4 plants or even a little bit more. I'd recommend maybe just starting them in a little bit larger pot like this or something like this. That way you don't have to do what we call pot up. So when you have the seed starting in these small trays or these small cells, what you're going to have to do as they get larger, then you're going to do what we call potting up. So once they get maybe 2-3 inches tall, then you're going to put them into a different pot, and then that allows the root system to grow and be a lot more healthier. So if you're going to be just planting a few plants and you don't want to worry about the potting up process, just plant them in these larger pots. There's nothing wrong with that at all. So once we've decided our potting situation, then what we're going to do, of course, now is decide what kind of potting mix we're going to use. For seed starting, you want to use something specific for seed starting, and this is just a Jiffy. I've used this for several years. The seed starting mix. It's really good. It's got no nutrients in it. It's just basic organic material that you can start your seeds with. Now, once you start your seeds, then eventually as they get a little bit larger than that, we'll talk about fertilization in another video, but that's how you really don't need that. You just need the seed to germinate. That'll start it, and then they'll start to grow, and then you'll transplant, and then you can start fertilizing and doing all that stuff. So let's start first with the soil. So once you have the soil, and again, you can purchase this, or again, what you can also do is make your own. I've done a video on potting up different old soils and kind of regenerating the soils, if you will, with different materials. You can also do that if you like. I would not recommend that for seed starting. However, you want a real, like a sterile environment as far as you're starting, especially because you're going to be starting indoors. Oftentimes these soils or these potting mixes will have fungus gnats. Fungus gnats can lay eggs, and then you're getting a little infestation of those. And again, that's something that you don't want, because not only they're going to be annoying, but they'll also attack the plant and the roots and kill your seed starts. So you want to make sure that your soil is sterile. And the best and easiest way that you can do that is just by sterilizing it with some boiling water. So again, whatever medium you're going to use, you can put it in a bucket. I'm going to use this here. So I have, again, one of these metal plants that I've recycled over the years. I've put my potting mix in here, and then essentially what we're going to be doing is we're just going to take this potting mix that we have here, okay, and I'm going to pour this boiling water in to this mix. Now what this hot water does, the boiling water, is it kills off all of the fungus gnats. That way you don't have any problems with the fungus gnats. All right, so now that we have got our soil cooled down a little bit, you can actually, if you want, you can store this in a container, a closed container. Once you do, if you want to do the whole bag, you can do that. But again, we're going to use all of this soil that we're using today. So when the moisture, depending on how much water you add, it doesn't, there's not a set recipe for this, but again, when you squeeze it, you don't want to have the water come, and it might clump just a little bit, but not too much. Okay, so so this is good in regards to the amount of moisture that we have, and again, we've already taken our hot water and killed off all of the fungus gnats and anything that's in there that may cause problems down the road for our plants. Now, let's talk about filling up our containers. So let's start with the 72 cell first. I'm not going to fill them all up for the sake of this video. I'm just going to show you just generally how I do it. We're gonna do a few of these cells, and then I'm going to show you how to plant some seeds, and then you can do this on your own and plant whatever seeds that you want. So again, what I just do is you can just kind of just put this mixture in here, and I don't really pack it down really strong with a lot of force, because again, you want that nice light fluffy material to allow for some growth of the roots. So you just kind of put that in here. So we're just going to do this much here, and I kind of gently put my finger in there, and you can see here that it does go down a little bit. So we'll fill that up a second time. So just kind of pack that down just gently. Again, I'm not putting a lot of force in there. And then we'll just fill those back up with the rest of the soil. Okay, so that's how we're going to fill up our 72 cell potting mix in these. Now, what you can also do is, again, fill up one of your larger ones. So again, if you have a larger garden, okay, I'm sorry, a smaller garden, and you're not going to be planting a lot of plants, and you don't want to use a lot of time and potting up and doing all kinds of different stuff, you can plant them in these larger containers. And again, that's all you're going to do. I'm going to just, again, demonstrate a few things. I've got some my Hungarian heritage and some paprika peppers. Okay, so did you know that paprika is made from these peppers, and they're specifically from Hungary? So I'm planting two different varieties and from two different seed companies. So again, you can check those out. But generally, there's same concept as far as the printing of how to plant everything. It's here. This particular variety of Hungarian paprika pepper, it says 6 to 8 weeks before your last frost. So we're again very close to that. If you plant it just a little bit sooner, it's not that going to be a big deal. You're just going to pot up to this larger pot when they get a little bit larger. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to go ahead and plant 6 of each one. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to plant 2 of these pepper seeds in each of these cells. Now all you're going to do is I'm just putting my finger just a tiny bit down in, because again, this is about 1/4 of an inch that you're going to be depth wise. So I'm going to plant these 2 lines here. I'm only going to plant 2 seeds. I'm just placing the 2 seeds in the cell where I put my finger in there. And the main thing is with these seeds is your germination hopefully is going to be good. Meaning that they're all going to germinate and come up, but again, you just don't know. So that's why I would recommend maybe planting 2 or maybe 3 seeds in each one. So this is going to be the Renee's garden. Ad lib and put it in something like this. You can repurpose some of your older different pots that you purchase or you recycle or repurpose. And that's how we're going to do that. The next video that I'm going to do, we're going to talk all about grow lights and how the grow lights are important. But again, for the first 7 to 10 days, there's not going to be really anything happening except you want to keep your seedlings moist and keep them warm in a warm place. And then once they start popping up, then that's when we're going to talk about the lights. So there you have it. We planted 72 different plants from seed, and we have broccoli, we have cauliflower, we have the Hungarian paprika plants, we have tomatillos, we have also some bell peppers. So, and of course we did our onions. Now, also recommend, make sure that you do label your seeds, starters, so you know what you're planting. And then I also like to put the date of the planting of the seeds, so that it gives you a better idea. In 7 to 10 days, you'll have the germination. If you notice that some of the cells are not germinating, it's either a time frame or it might just be that those particular seeds did not germinate. So let's say it says 6 to 10 days to germinate, and it's been 2 weeks already, 14 days, your seeds are not good and they're not going to germinate. So keep that in mind also. If you want to put that dome above your plants, keep everything moist, make sure it's watered well, and you don't let the seed mix dry out. You're going to water from the bottom, and keep that in a warm spot. You can use that grow light that we talked about. I'm sorry, the grow mat, to keep the germination temperature of the soil around 50 to 60 degrees. Again, the mats that you purchase, it'll keep the soil the right temperature. You don't have to test it or anything like that. So you just put the heat mat underneath. Once those seedlings start to germinate and pop through the soil, then that's when you're going to put the grow lights in, and we'll go over a whole new video with that on where you're going to be putting your grow lights, the station that I have at home, and how I do that. Again, it's very, very simple to have a simple grow station, and you can start your seeds from scratch, your plants, and save a lot of money that way, and that's what it's all about. And it's a lot of fun to see these seedlings pop up through the ground, and then of course, in about 90 days you're going to be eating some fresh bell peppers or tomatillos or whatever you want to eat. So if you found some value in this video, please hit that like button for me, and if you haven't subscribed yet to the channel, please consider subscribing, and I appreciate all the subscriptions, and if you want to share this with your friends. Until next time, happy gardening.